talking to me about her today, so I'm gonna go watch her. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. She was hurt last year. That's why we didn't catch her on the radar. Did she? And she just plays short?
She started in the outfield when she was a freshman.
Right.
They moved her to short. They actually moved her to short the year that they won the state championship because the first baseman got hurt and moved from shortstop to first base. And got hurt in the outfield.
Yeah,
shortstop.
yeah. It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
Ready?
I am.
We have softball head coach Robin Petrini and first baseman Caitlin Johnson. So if you'd like to start with Stephen.
We're excited to get started. A lot of teams started last weekend. There are a few that did not. So we're excited to get out there. New Mexico State is a good opening weekend. For our pitchers, we need to keep the ball down because the air is very thin. So for our offense, it's great. KJ, she's going to have a great weekend. And for our pitchers, we need to focus on keeping it down. But we have a great mix of returners and freshmen, and we're looking forward to see how this season develops. We have more depth this year than we've had in many years, so we're excited looking forward.
Can I ask you, what do you think the strength of this team is?
I think our strength is going to be our offense. We're really deep offensively. If you were to ask me what the lineup will be for that first game, I don't know. We've kicked a few things around. We haven't really discussed it in depth since we had a scrimmage this last weekend, but we've kicked a few things around, so it'll be interesting. The lineup's going to be different on a regular basis till we kind of settle into what we're doing, and I wouldn't be surprised to see kids platooning. One game you're in, the next game she's in, till we kind of settle into. And with that gives me, I hope, to have depth off the bench when I need it. And we have more speed than we've had in a long time. So I think our offense is going to be fun to watch.
What are your goals or expectations in New Mexico?
We're going in, and I think we're anxious to get on the dirt. We want to come out of there with a winning record. That's absolutely first and foremost. But I think mostly, too, it's finding out who we can count on and who are going to be our go-to kids, and kind of getting a feel for where our lineup stands. Did you want to add anything to that?
I think you nailed that one.
How concerned are you about the pitching? It doesn't look like you have some experience back.
Right.
But not enough.
Well, I think it might be pitching by committee, which has always been my philosophy anyway. So, I think that the kids that we have on the roster are very good, and it's getting them to be consistently good. I've seen spots of brilliance in practice, so we need to get that to show up on a regular basis. But our pitching could become one of our strengths.
How tough is it when you have the kind of season that you guys had last year to build back up and to get it to where you want it to be?
I think that's, everybody has a memory, and that, we've talked about losing your memory. I think the difference this year, though, is that the freshmen that we brought in have added so much to our roster. These are kids that are ready to compete and be on the field right now, and I've got to figure out who's going to be on the field right now. So I think that, we just had a discussion last week about, taking last year and spitting it out and moving forward. So I think we're ready to do that.
Who are some of those kids?
Carly Habits will be behind the plate, helping out with Casey behind the plate. Raina Faruya is an infielder. Lexi Neef is an infielder. Christy Von Push is a pitcher for us. Macy Jones is a pitcher utility outfielder, can play some infielder. Taylor Abeda is an outfielder who we've worked a little bit in the infield. So we've added quite a bit of depth to our roster. We return all 8 starters defensively. So adding this to it, people that are competing for positions, I think it's really going to do well for us.
Caitlin, how determined are you guys to get this tournament?
Definitely. I know as seniors, we talked yesterday, and we just talked about how to move forward from last season and how to, get a winning season and do that. And I think off of what she said, definitely like having a freshman class like with 8 and having them so just like wanting to be there and wanting to win, it really like helps us and keeps us motivated, and especially in like times when, you know, maybe we're not doing so well, and we'll kind of like it's like easy to kind of fall back on like, okay, like, oh, this is kind of like last year. But to have like our 8 freshmen that are so like ready to win and ready to be there, I think it's going to be great, and I'm very excited.
What makes you guys so, I looked at your own record is,
I know, we need to play the whole season at home.
I know.
what makes the difference?
Oh, everything.
Go ahead.
It's just like, I don't know, like the atmosphere, like the fans being there, the field, it's just like amazing. Just like, I don't know, like it's just everything. It's amazing, and I do wish we played a lot more games there. It's sad how much we don't play, but it's just like a totally different game when we play at home.
I think they're more relaxed too. You know, you sleep in your own beds. The itinerary is very set. You know, they know to get to the field 2 hours prior to game time. They're not feeling rushed. You know, when you're on the road, you eat breakfast, and you're always, you know, we always try and allow enough time. But, you know, if you're playing a doubleheader, you can't eat too far in advance because then, you know, the kids are hungry. So you're trying to, and if you get into a restaurant and they're not fast enough, then you're pressed for time. You get back to the hotel. So the routine is a lot easier when you're at home, too. And I think our fans, playing in front of our fans is great. You know, our marketing and promotions department does a fantastic job. I always look up in the stands, and I'm like, I know half of you. I don't know where the rest of you came from, but I'm really glad that you're here. So I think that's part of it.
And a lot of it has to do with our pregame and our locker room, I think. Definitely pumps us up.
To kind of go off of what you just asked, so how tough is it as a player, feeling to not actually have like a legitimate home game until the end of March?
It's tough, but I mean, I feel like we don't really know anything else. We don't know anything different. I mean, we've always been on the road, and I think we're just used to it. And so when we do get home and we do play home, it's like we're so excited and so ready to be there that it's kind of like amplified. So I think we're used to it.
Coach, what are your thoughts on a Big Ten tournament being on the schedule this year?
I'm excited for the Big Ten tournament. I think that us taking it off of our schedule actually has hurt the conference overall. I know that we're taking all teams, so you know, that adds to it a little bit. But I think that fighting for spots in the Big Ten tournament keeps everybody motivated coming down the stretch of the season, and I think that it prepares you for postseason play. And I think when we took that out, we lost that element of postseason play, and I think bringing that back in is going to be a tremendous addition for our conference. With the addition of Maryland and Rutgers, we're kicking around whether we're going to do that, and we would have to take less than everybody, and there are some mixed feelings about that, but we're waiting to make a final judgment until we go through the Big Ten tournament this year. But I think that the Big Ten tournament really motivates your team during the season. And I know in the years when you had to qualify to get into the Big Ten tournament, which we would have to move to with the addition of Maryland and Rutgers. I know that our kids always knew where we stood in the Big Ten and what we needed to do to get to the Big Ten tournament. And I just thought it was a great opportunity for our kids to have a tournament exposure, and it absolutely kept teams motivated coming down the stretch.
Can you comment about Marissa and her offseason after last year? She contributed so much as a underclassman.
Yeah, we're looking forward to a great year from her. She's been working really hard, and she's motivated to get out there and do the things that we need her to do. She's strong, and she has great stuff. I mean, when her stuff is on, you know, KJ was standing in off of her the other day, and she threw a drop, and KJ was like, wow, that thing is tough. I could never hit that. So she's got some really good stuff, and we're looking forward to having her compete for us.
How would the battle of catcher position between Casey Hatfield?
I don't think it's going to be a battle. I think they're going to platoon. You know, I think that, you know, we've gone with one catcher in the last couple of years because one catcher outperformed the other catchers. But I think that this year, I think that those two are going to be hand in hand with each other, competing at that position, and we won't lose anything with either one of them behind the plate. I think they're both solid catchers. But the wear and tear on their knees, you know, Casey has had some knee issues, and just being able to give her a break with a solid catcher is going to be an outstanding opportunity for all of us.
You talked about offense being a strength of a couple of folks that you're counting on to provide some big numbers, do you think?
This young lady right here, and Cassidy Bell, And then, there's a couple kids that, sometimes they have this big weekend and sometimes they don't. So we're going to have to find out how the rest of them are going to shake out. Casey's had some big numbers for us. Lauren Yell's had some good numbers for us on weekends. Some of those freshmen I think are going to have some good numbers for us. So it's going to be spread out. I was looking over our stats just yesterday. I had individual goal meetings with people, and I was looking over our statistics, and we've never been 15, 20 home run per player team. It's just not our mojo. But I think that we have more kids this year that are capable of hitting it out than we've ever have, and that's how we were 4 or 5 years ago when Esparza was here. We had 5, 6, 7 kids that were giving us 4, 5, 6 plus home runs a season, so our home run numbers went up, and I think that we've got a couple kids that one swing of the bat. I mean, in practice, we've definitely have lots of different people that have hit the ball out. It's been fun.
How difficult is it trying to determine, the process? Because you said that there's so many different players you're trying to pick.
Well, I think the key to this season will be if I'm not playing, I make sure I support the person on the team, and I make sure that I'm ready, that when coach calls on me to go in, I'm ready to go. And I think if our kids can embrace that, we are going to be very successful. If they get caught up in she's playing and I'm not playing, and I feel sorry for myself, then you run into some issues. But I think that we've identified it sufficiently ahead of time that I think they understand what their roles are, and that is, I support you. You're hitting great. I support you. When my opportunity comes, I'm ready to go. So, would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Anything else?
Great. Thank you very much.